This is one probably no one expected. That's Job. Job is notorious for losing everything and God blessing him back. But it's how he did it, how he handled the situation, is what speaks volumes. So let's go to Job 1:20 through 22. And this is after Satan goes and asks God, in a nutshell, I've gone to and fro. Is there anybody else I can tempt? And he's like, well, here's my servant Job. He allows Satan to tempt Job. And he loses his whole family. He loses everything but his wife. And he rose up, verse 20. Job rose, tore his robe, and shaved his head. And he fell to the ground and worshiped. And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And all this, Job did not sin nor charge God with wrong. He accepted it, but he still worshiped. He thanked God after losing his whole family, minus his wife. And his wife addresses him in the second chapter after Satan goes to God again about going to and fro. And then God says, what about my servant Job? After you then took everything from him, he still remains faithful. He says, skin for skin. He said, basically, let me have at him. And he said, you can, but spare his life. So after he gets these boils all over his body, his wife comes up to him in verse 9 and says, then his wife said to him, do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die. But he said to her, you speak as one of the foolish women speaks. Shall we indeed accept good from God, and shall we not accept adversity? In all this, Job did not sin with his lips. He was definitely decisive and composed during this whole time because he chose to still worship God regardless and not blame God for any of it. That's hard. Most people, 99% of people can't do that. Especially after what he lost and what was going to him. So if you want to learn from anybody, especially in the Old Testament, Job. Jesus Christ is the ultimate one to learn from, but Job is, when things get hard, read Job, especially the first couple chapters, and then read the last chapter, 42. It'll give you a lot of hope. So let's go to where he's addressing his friends who tried to blame him for being in sin without any proof at all. Let's go to Job 4, 3 through 7. This is Eliphaz. Surely you have instructed many, and you have strengthened weak hands. Your words have upheld him who was stumbling, and you have strengthened the feeble knees. But now it comes upon you, and you are weary. It touches you, and you are troubled. Is not your reverence your confidence, and the integrity of your ways your hope? Remember now whoever perished being innocent. Well, where were the upright ever cut off? So he's thinking he sins. And he's not the only one. He goes, his other friend does it too in 11:6. Then Zophar the Naamathite answered and said, should not the multitude of words be answered? And should a man full of talk be vindicated? Should your empty talk make men hold their peace? And when you mock, should no one rebuke you? For you have said, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in your eyes. But oh, that God would speak and open his lips against you, that he would show you the secrets of wisdom, for they would double your prudence. Know therefore that God exacts from you less than your iniquity deserves, or forget some of your iniquity for you. That's two of his friends that are all like, you're going through this because you deserve it. Let's go to 15, 1 through 6. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, Should a wise man answer with empty knowledge and fill himself with the east wind? Should he reason with unprofitable talk, or by speeches with which he can do no good? Yes, you can cast off fear and restrain prayer before God, for your iniquity teaches your mouth. But you choose the tongue of the crafty. Your own mouth condemns you, and not I. Yes, your own lips testify against you. All three of them, he was still composed when he dealt with his friends, blaming him for something he didn't do, and his situation is his fault and not outside of that. Obviously, they didn't mention Satan, but they're blaming him without any proof. They can't point anything out. Without holding back, he becomes a straight shooter and he addresses them. Let's go to Job 12, 1 through 6. Job answered and said, No doubt you are the people, and wisdom will die with you. But I have understanding as well as you. I am not in fear to you. Indeed, who does not know such things as these? I am one mocked by his friends, who called on God, and he answered him. The just and blameless who is ridiculed. A lamp is despised in the thought of one who is at ease. It is made ready for those whose feet slip, and the tents of robbers prosper, and those who provoke God are secure in what God provides by his hand. He's being honest. He's being a straight shooter here. He's telling him, like, I don't deserve this, but I'm not going to lose myself in this. His faith is in God. Let's go to 19, 21 through 26. Have pity on me. Have pity on me, O you my friends. And the hand of God has struck me. Why do you persecute me as God does, and are not satisfied with my flesh? Oh, that my words were written. Oh, that they were inscribed in a book, that they were engraved on rock with an iron pen and lead forever. For I know that my Redeemer lives, and he shall stand at last on the earth. And after my skin is destroyed, this I know, that in my flesh I shall see God. So he addressed them, didn't hold back, was assertive and composed, knowing that he didn't deserve what happened. And God rewarded him for it. God came in the later chapters in a whirlwind and addressed them all. But he also vindicated Job and made his friends sacrifice for the blames they put on Job, and he restored Job more than what he had before. So just remember, through it all, you might go through some stuff, but your faith and your willingness to worship and cling to God will get you through it, because we're not promised not to go through anything. We're promised we can make it through by relying on Christ.